Of course, you're welcome back, and this is TV3 New Day. Thank you so much for staying with us, and good morning to you if you just joined us. We're on till 10:30 a.m. It's a packed show, but between the next hour, we're looking at discussing some very important issues on the big issue, and this one will be looking at two policies or proposals that have been made by the NDC and the NPP. The first one is the 24-hour economy formula introduced by the NDC. And just 2 days ago, they launched their youth manifesto where they threw some more light on the 24-hour policy. And they said it was going to be a formula of 1-3-3, which is one job, 3 shifts, 3 people. And they're describing this as a game changer for Ghana's economy. Is it really the case? Also, we'll be looking at a statement that was made by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President of the country, who also doubles as a flag bearer for the NPP, where he says that his government, if he should win power, will increase driver's license validity to 8 to 10 years. In fact, he says that renewal after 2 years is not enough. In fact, he intends to expand it or extend it to 10 years. So we'll speak on that as well. But good morning, especially to Honorable John Kojo Alan Tremantin. Yesterday, the media met him, and we asked questions from his great transformational plan. They call it the political Bible, and he was able to give us some answers, a number of them that we really needed to touch on. And so thank you again to your team as well for organizing this. And as we move along, I'm sure we'll touch on a few of them. But in the studio, I have the man who always wears really nice shirts, Malik Basintale. He's the NDC Deputy National Communications Officer. Good morning.
Good morning,
How
Bella.
are you doing?
Well, not too good. I'm not good.
What's wrong?
Because I feel the pain of past presidents. The level at which Matthew Opoku Prempeh disrespects former presidents is becoming appalling. And I think that we must unanimously condemn him. Yesterday, he was in the Central Region. And he started naming Dr. Nkrumah, Dr. Rawlings, Dr. Kufuor, and got to Atameos and said, Papa na wuno.
He didn't mention his name?
He mentioned, said, Papa na wuno. Then somebody said Atameos. Please, respectfully, with the greatest of respect. One day, you would also die. The level at which we must accord people respect. Atameos lived and served this country diligently, to the extent that the entire country, even NDC people, had issues with how he was just, he was fair, and he served this country with his entire heart. It is regrettably unfortunate.
I'll need to watch that video. I haven't seen
Matthew
it.
Opoku Prempeh will just make a mockery out of him. We don't do things this way. Please, he was buffed. I know for the last 1 month, after he goofed, Otunfo buffed him and he goofed and they hit him again and they were buffing him. He's gone on the spear again. That arrogancy must stop. Please, you cannot be arrogant, incompetent, and want to lead this country. I'm begging him. Look, as for this one, Bella, let me put everything aside. Mr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, with the greatest of respect, respect former presidents. Respect Kufuor, respect Atameos, respect John Mahama, respect, Dr. Nkrumah, respect all former presidents. They came before you. Please, if you want to be disrespectful, go back home, sit in your room, and continue with the arrogant posture.
Well, thank you.
I'm really happy.
I would want to watch that video to really understand.
I wish your producer, your producer played the video.
All right, no, but that's not what we're discussing today. So I'll check it later and see. But let me also introduce the man who would always wear a GTP shirt, of course, representing the Movements for Change. Mr. Solomon Owusu is a senior communicator for Movements for Change. Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
How you
Bella.
doing?
I'm doing well, and thanks for your question yesterday night as well. You asked a probing question and you got the answer. So I'm sure that settles the matter on Commander Sugar Factory. And going forward, I'm sure there will be a time that we go into the GTP in detail, because as we speak, Alan remains the only candidate who has put forward a plan. And yesterday night, I was so happy that journalists were quoting copiously from the book, referring to pages. That is what we need as a country. Not the usual chobo, this one come and make noise, and at the end of the day, we are where we are. We must cause politicians that want to lead us to come out with their plans and be ready to answer for everything that they have put there. So it was encouraging.
Definitely. And I was hoping to see you for some reason.
But I was there.
And
You were on the high table. I was in my corner.
How?
You know the common floor member.
I was even more common floor than you.
I was down there.
Well, it's good to see you this morning, and I'm glad that at least we got the chance to also interact with him. I know that the NPP this Sunday will be launching its manifesto in the Western region, and so we'll be bringing you a live coverage all day. We'll have men on the ground in the Western region, and we'll also be in the studio to interact and, of course, discuss the manifesto. We'll look at the previous manifestos that have been launched by the NDC, the NPP. And, of course, the NDC also launched this youth manifesto. I know you also have a plan to launch the manifesto.
Yes.
This month.
Yes, ending this month.
Ending of this month. Do we have a date yet?
We are yet to settle on a date for that. I mean, but we've launched the youth manifesto, the first ever of its kind in the history of this country. But we'll launch the main one very soon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get into our conversation now. But just a reminder that you can also cash out and win some good money while you're watching us. And good morning to all our viewers on Facebook. I see that Edward Dugbaja is on. Nelson Yesuto Kofi Akotia, always on as well. Good morning to you. To Pearl Aflakwi and to SK Destiny and Nana Prempe, good morning to you as well. Mario James Zenatakos and Telex Man, Malik Basintali, another blessed day to expose the government. Okay. I'll be giving a few shout outs as we move on, but we also want to hear from you. And so if you're watching us live on Facebook at TV3 Ghana, join in the conversation and let us know what you think. First of all, about the 24-hour economy. Now, Formula 133 has been announced. We'll get into that and get some further details on it. But also play cash out and win 1,000 Ghana cedis before the end of the show. Just dial *439#, select option 2, and you have to be a Telecel subscriber or an MTN subscriber. To play this game, play as many times as possible so you can win. 3 of you will get 1,000 Ghana cedis. But let's go straight into our first topic for today. And it's Formula 133, the 24-hour policy. So like I mentioned 2 days ago at the UPSC auditorium, the NDC launched this youth manifesto. Let's hear from the former president when he talked about this policy. All right. Well, we'll try and bring it back, but let me just read from his text exactly what he mentioned. He said that he says the 24-hour economy will enable one job to be shared across 3 shifts and employ 3 persons, providing job opportunities for 3 workers instead of 1. This policy, which aims to drive economic growth, improve service delivery and create jobs in both the public and private sectors, will prioritize the needs of our youth. For the policy to thrive, the government will invest in security and public safety measures, including recruiting additional personnel and enhancing street lighting to promote nighttime economic activity. Malik, I'll start off with you because, again, I mean, he listed some of the areas that the 24-hour economy will take place, at least for now. I'm guessing that this is more a progressive implementation of the policy. Expatiate on it a lot more for me. How have people accepted or reacted to the 133 formula?
Well, Bella, good morning. Before you find medicine or before you buy medicine, you must know your sickness. And so before you profess any solution, you must know the problem. And governance is about solving solutions or bringing solutions to problems of the country. Admittedly, on this platform, the biggest problem and challenge in this country today is the issue of unemployment. It is the biggest of all problems we are going through today in this country. 1.8 million plus Ghanaians are unemployed. Unemployment is high, skyrocketed to over 14.7%. And so any government that seeks to lead this country should have the solution to unemployment in this country. Now, we cannot keep doing the same thing, same way all the time, and expect different results. All policies that have been brought into this country in recent times towards the resolution of unemployment have failed. This government brought NAPCO, it failed. YE has brought different structures, they failed. I mean, so many other youthful policies, all have failed. Why have they failed? They have failed because any policy that has been brought to fit into the 8-hour working system we have in this country today. And so we went out there, asking the business community, what is really the problem and what is the panacea to resolving the problem of unemployment in this country? For 67 years in this country, If a hairdresser opens a shop today, she opens it within 8 hours. If a barber opens a shop today, he works within 8 hours. If I open a watcher joint today, I work within 8 hours. If I open a boutique today, I work within 8 hours. So everybody who aspires to open a job, either today, before, or in the future, does so within an 8-hour period. And that system has been choked. So we met industry. Okay, President Mahama says, how can we resolve the challenge? Then the industry tells us, look, the 8-hour period is choked. Let us emulate other countries. Let's go beyond the 8-hour. Let us have a 3 shift and work at full 24 hours, the system. Then President Mahama says, okay, what do you think my government can do to ensure that you work at a 3 shift system? Then industry says, okay, all that has been stressing our businesses are high taxes, high electricity tariffs, and sometimes we even fear to work in the night because of low security. So President Mahama says, okay, 1.8 youth are unemployed. If you, industry, is willing or are willing to absorb the 1.8 million youth in your companies, my government will meet you halfway, would give you low taxes, would give you a time of use electricity usage where we cut down your electricity consumption, and then we'll provide enough security for you so you can work in the night. Then the industry says, oh, fantastic. When we close and we go home, the company still stands. There's no company that sleeps in this country. No building sleeps, no machine sleeps. Yet, once the human beings are not there, the company is forced to go idle. So if indeed you meet us halfway, then we'll recruit more people so that when the first batch closes and they go home to sleep, the next batch that was sleeping will now come to work and then they'll be able to work. If you have 3 people in a house and Akosia works at company A and works at 8 hours and close, this time Abu will be able to take over from Akosia when she closes, and then when Abu also closes, Cynthia will take over from Abu and then work at the 3rd shift. TUC says, fantastic. Once you are able to meet us halfway, then good. We will now work at a 3-shift system and we'll be able to recruit all the unemployed people into our companies to work. Then somebody asks President Mahama, oh, with this policy, you will require a lot of money. How will you be able to cater for the tax surplus or the tax gap in this sector?
Exactly.
Then President Mahama says, look, my brother, the Office of Government Machinery today spends over 2 billion in running it. Under my tenure, I did over 400 million. Upon assumption of office, I intend reducing the number of people I recruit at the presidency to just about 600 people. And that 600 people will spend about 400 million, which means that there will be a surplus of 1.6 billion that will be infused in this. 1.6 billion will be able to cater for the tax surpluses. Again, government have been flying, and in 9 months alone, Akufo-Addo spent over 50 million in traveling around the country. President Mahama says, I won't travel recklessly. I'll use that 50 million to meet your tax consumption and then to cater for electricity tariffs. Okay. Then somebody also asks him, oh, but what about demand? We may exceed the local demand, though. Then President Mahama says, that is perfect for me because the 24-hour economy seeks to leverage an export-led economy, which means that when you overmeet the local demand, we'll start exporting to West Africa. If we finish West Africa, we'll start exporting to Africa. If we exceed the demand of Africa, then for the first time, Ghanaian products will get to America and Canada and the United States. So all we are saying is that the same jobs that have been working today will continue to work. Okay. Just that the difference is that 3 people are now going to work at a 3-shift system because government is going to meet them halfway upon assumption of office, and the companies have also agreed to recruit all the Ghanaian youth. Then the last question, somebody poses a question to President Mahama. Okay, the private sector will do it. What about government sector? Then President Mahama says, today, if you go to the passport office, it is choked. Why is it choked? Because after 8 hours, the passport office closes. And people who have to pay Goro boys and queue just to get a passport. The passport office, upon assumption of office, since it's public sector and fully under my control, will go 24 hours immediately. Ports will go full 24 hours immediately.
Okay.
All other pharmaceuticals and hospitals under my care will fully run a 24-hour shift. When that happens, we'll pick a lot of customs officials at the port, we'll pick a lot of security people who will be guarding all these companies, and the country will run at a full force. So, Bella, all I want us to do on this table, together with our viewers, sit down and for a minute, imagine a Ghana at 2 a.m., where your daughter says, I just woke up and I'm going to work. Imagine a Ghana at 4 a.m., and Akosua wakes up and says, oh, I'm on my way to work. I just woke up. It's time for my shift. Imagine a Ghana at 1 a.m., and somebody suddenly closes from work and says, I'm going to the house. This is what the youth of this country need today.
Definitely.
The youth of this country need jobs, and jobs,
Hold on.
the companies of this country need productivity, and the economy of this country need an export-led corridor.
But the concern, and I've been speaking to a business owner, because again, the NDC promised that any company that also jumps on this 24-hour policy and, you know, engages more people would get what? A reduction in their taxes?
Reduction in taxes.
So the question that this person was asking, first of all, how long is this reduction in taxes going to be?
Right.
If the former president is going to be in power for 4 years, are we saying it's going to last the entire 4 years or for as long as I run a 24-hour economy? And secondly, if you're asking me to, you know, pay less in taxes, once I'm also increasing production, I'm going to make more profit and I'm going to make more money.
Right.
Why is the government not looking to also tax, you know, the regular one so that they can also increase the monies that they make?
You see, it's a fantastic question. When your economy grows, you don't need taxes to survive. When there's productivity, your economy will grow. So we need the people to work and grow the economy so that our GDP could be good, and then we will not even need taxes to work because the country will be running on its own. Mind you, are you aware that there are certain companies that support governments through even corporate social responsibilities that do things that government ought to have been doing? If companies are declaring profits, they will do what government is even supposed to be doing for government. So you will not need to even meet them. Look, when the Mepe floods occurred, TV3, you supported government hugely. Airtime government would have been buying, you took care of it, and you did advertisement, you saw a lot of things and went to give it to them. What it tells you is that when your company thrives, government will not need taxes to even do a lot of things. Government comes for your taxes because there's low productivity and they keep borrowing and they need money from you to go and pay for their debts. And that's why today any tax government imposes on us is to clear their debts, the debts of Alhaji Bawumia.
How long is this going to last for a business?
The 24-hour economy is going to last. It's going to be eternal. We are starting it, and it's going to be
but what I mean is, so if the businessman is asking that, are you only promising this because you want me to vote for you, and then when eventually I decide to run the ship system, you're going to tell me I can only pay less taxes, or, you know, my electricity will be reduced for just a period, and after that I'm going back to the regular?
You see, what the businessman is interested in is profits and not what he pays. If he's able to work in a sustained economy and an effective economy and declare profits, even if you tell him to pay a tax of 20 billion, he will pay to you. Any businessman who declares profits in this country does not have a problem paying taxes. It is when they are not declaring profits, or when they are declaring very minute profits, and yet you are on their neck for them to pay taxes, that is when they fight you. So all the TUC, all organized labor, all the companies have accepted to this 24-hour economy, and they see it as a game changer.
Let me check if they really have.
The youth of this country are proud of this policy, and sometimes there are a lot of people who ask how President Mahama could even think of such a fantastic idea. And people are
you
buying
hold
for
on.
it.
Let me check on Solomon, because the way you are praising the former president, he's here laughing.
So the 24-hour economy is to create jobs for the youth, like I explained, is to boost productivity for companies and leverage our economy, and to put us in an export-led.
We hear you.
So we'll be able to boost.
Solomon,
you're happy with the policy already.
Let me go to Solomon, I beg you. I'm smiling because of a message that I'm reading. It's not because of what you're saying. But Solomon, before I come to you, so Boogie Brown is watching on Facebook, and he says, Bella, I don't hate the NPP or NDC, but I can tell you with a degree of certainty that this 24-hour economy won't work. It's just a blatant lie to win votes, just like the NPP did to get power. And now they don't even know how to properly manage the economy with the book knowledge. Where are the jobs and industries to do the 24 hours? They should rather focus on completing the uncompleted projects and adequately fixing the dilapidated structures. Do you agree to this?
Yes, so Bella, the end product of this book, The Great Transformation Plan, is what they have summarized as 24-hour economy. To be able to run efficiently and effectively a 24-hour economy, you need to get certain fundamentals right. And that is what Alan has cataloged as 6 key or thematic areas to deal with. And you remember, last year, my candidate, Mr. Chemantin, emphatically said he does not oppose 24-hour economy because he knows that by fully implementing what is contained in the GTP will lead you to a 24-hour economy. Under the current settings, there is absolutely no way you can effectively run a 24-hour economy.
Why do you say that?
When you are having to borrow at 40%, which businessman can survive with that?
Absolutely.
So Alan says, let's tackle the macroeconomic environment, deal with issues of interest rate, make sure it's down, reduce nuisance taxes. That's where he tells you, how is it that we are still paying COVID tax? So deal with it. Deal with the issues of corruption. Deal with the behavioral and mindset. We need to change the attitude of the Ghanaian, even towards this. It's okay.
Okay.
Put up the infrastructure. Someone have to come to work at 2 a.m. Where he or she is coming from, where is the transport to deal with that? And when you have done with all this, it will lead automatically to that 24-hour economy which the country needs.
Fantastic.
And I believe that our focus must be on the private sector.
I agree.
Alan believes in the private sector. Because you see, if you were to take the budget of this country, 2 line items always take our money. Interest payment on our facilities and emolument. So we cannot overburden the public sector in our discourse. And therefore, you have to incentivize the private sector. So if you realize, all our strategies have been around how to incentivize the private. As we speak, the public sector employs close to 700,000 people. And even with that, we are crying.
Yeah.
What it tells you is that more people are employed in the private sector. So if you're a government, what do you do? Push in more resources there, reduce their corporate taxes, give them more incentives so that they can engage more.
Which is what the NDC has announced. I mean, they're going to reduce their taxes and also they'll pay,
Yeah, but
less electricity.
Yes, but the point is that our problems are one.
Yes.
As a country.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody knows that we are faced with the challenge of unemployment.
That's right.
So we are all going to Kumasi. They probably want to use the Cape Coast route.
Yeah.
We are using so at the end of the day, the destination is Kumasi. At the end of the day, the destination is to deal with the issues of unemployment and then make lives for our people very comfortable, as enshrined in Article 36. That Ghanaians has to be happy. Are we happy? People are going through real hardships in this country. So I am not opposed. The movement for change is so opposed to the idea of 24-hour economy. But what we want to find out is the how.
Okay.
They intend to achieve.
You don't think that they've still been able to, give you details as to how
As we speak, I don't have their manifesto. And I'm waiting patiently to see what is contained. So that when we come here, his manifesto is here, mine is here. For instance, we have 34 policies towards the youth.
Okay.
How to deal comprehensively with the youth unemployment. I want to see in detail, together with the rest of their sectorial promises, so that we can put the issues in the right perspective. Other than that, 24-hour economy, why wouldn't you call for it?
I mean, you have the great transformational plan.
Exactly.
I want you to speak to us on what the plan is to deal with youth unemployment.
So
because again, the numbers are staggering.
So first of all, Alan believes, and if you have time, the first thing to deal with, and he touched on it, that you have a lot of youth centers scattered across, leadership centers here and there. They are not functioning properly. So Alan intends to undertake a comprehensive review of all our youth infrastructure to know where they are falling short. Now, beyond that, you cannot just say youth unemployment without knowing whether they even have the skill set.
Okay.
So, for instance, in this country, they are looking for 1 million carpenters. Meanwhile, you are training more and more people in the humanities. How do you get these people into the carpentry sector so that they take advantage of the overwhelming jobs available? The Alan says, after secondary school, there will be apprenticeship. You don't have to finish secondary school and just be walking about. If you want to be a carpenter, you have to go and learn something there. If you want to be a hairdresser, you have to learn so that you have a skill set. Those that are unable to, there is also another opportunity to be in the security services.
Okay.
Again, those that want to go into business. You see, one of the problems that we have as a country is that, Bella, you want to be a business lady. Where is the starting point? Where do you go for someone to even mentor you? And that is why when he was the Minister for Trade and Industry, he started something. Yesterday he touched on it briefly. The business resource centers that, I don't know, for want of a better word, is being mismanaged now. The whole idea is to serve as the starting point for young ones that want to enter into business to go and learn where to start from, where to register your company, how to prepare simple accounts, and so on and so forth. So that having been equipped, you can then, from the same youth policy, access a facility from what Alan is proposing as the Traders Bank.
Okay. Traders Bank.
Yes, Alan is going to aid in establishing Traders Bank. Why is he pushing for that? We have a lot of traders in this country. They are subjected to these high interest rates offered by these commercial banks. They have no say in there. But if you are a trader, just like we have the NAGRAT and NAT, you know, they are able to pull their resources together and build skyscrapers and so on and so forth. Alan is saying, pull resources together. Government will help you with the seed fund, and then we establish a traders bank for you so that your interest rate will be so low. Alan is saying that in this country, there are multinational companies that are here that finds it very difficult to get Ghanaian youth to be doing even subcontracting. It will be mandatory. We were in this country that KFC came here. They were looking for a company to supply them poultry, chicken products. They couldn't get it. It's an opportunity. Anywhere you see people having a problem with an issue, it means the solution to it is an opportunity.
Of course.
We could not get a company in Ghana to be supplying them with their chicken needs, so they have to be importing. Can you imagine that the youth has been empowered, and which Alan professed that Alan is going to aid the youth to establish large-scale farms.
Okay.
So that it takes care of some of these subcontracting. Again, you have the youth that are not, after secondary school, doing anything, that some of them can do simple items like testing of patients. Alan promises to establish about 100,000 of these booths as health assistants, so that checking of diabetes, checking of these basic health.
They'll be trained to do that.
Absolutely.
And they'll be paid for that. So this also addresses the issue of unemployment. So is that, will that be separate from the 24-hour policy, or that also ties into the whole 24-hour?
That's what I'm saying, that the totality of running an economy efficiently leads to a 24-hour economy. If business is booming, mind you, in West Africa or Africa, and it's one of the reasons why he fought for the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. You have about 1.4 billion people in Africa. So the issue of demand is never an issue. If you are farming in Ghana and there is excess, the people of Nigeria are looking for food, people in Sierra Leone are looking for food, you can export there. And fortunately, we have that trade framework so that you can export your goods to the sub-region or to the continent. Alan is saying that encourage this youth to go in. If there is demand, why wouldn't you produce 24 hours? If you are selling Kelewole and the demand is so high, would you pause and go to your house?
You said something that then there should be a demand, which is what the MPP are also saying as well, that there needs to be a demand for a 24-hour economy policy to be implemented. The NDC doesn't seem to agree because they think that is the reverse. Implement the 24-hour policy and the demand will come naturally with it.
That's why I want to see the detail, because there has to be the demand. Absolutely, you cannot produce in vacuum. If you are producing and people are not buying, will you continue to produce? If you are a farmer and this year your wares were not bought, you will be discouraged. But the truth of the matter is that you can stimulate demand. You stimulate demand by reducing interest rate, by reducing taxes, so that people's disposable income, money that is available in their pocket, will increase for them to be able to purchase your goods.
But could it also not be that there's no demand because people know that after 5 p.m. or after 7 p.m., I know that I'm not going to find this particular service or, goods at this place. So I'd rather wait till the next morning, which is why there's no demand between that period?
No, but the point is that those of us that buy electricity, if you know that they will close at 5 p.m., you will definitely, because it's a necessity. But what I'm saying is that people ordinarily will not bother to buy when they don't have money.
Okay. Malik, so 2 things have come up. Infrastructure.
Right.
And then skills development plus demand.
Right. So if the watcher seller closes at 4 p.m. because she notes all government agencies close at 4. If the government agency works beyond 4, the watcher seller will get someone to sell watcher after 4. The woman who sells sweets by primary school closes at 2 p.m. because she knows the kids at 2 p.m. will go home and there's no one to buy. If the kids stay after 2, she'll be there to sell to them, which means that once there's a 24-hour economy, there will be demand for these small businesses we are talking about. Now, there's an organizer on the Spentex Road. He works 24 hours. Anytime you get there, even at 1 a.m., you find him fixing cars. There's an organizer there. On the Spentex Road, there's a very popular organizer. You find him, he fixes people's tires till morning.
Is it opposite the police station?
Absolutely, opposite the police station, absolutely.
Okay.
He works there 24 hours. What it tells you and I is that because he stays up at night, he gets people to come to him. You will get a flat tire in your house and leave the car there till the next morning because there's no organizer close to your area. If there were an organizer, you would take your car there for him to fix. What it tells, like what I'm simply saying is that there will be demand once you start working there. Again, if you say there's no demand for a particular commodity in the country, and so you will not produce, what happens to exporting the commodity? Don Simon, we've been drinking Don Simon in this country for 67 years. It comes from Spain. And anytime they import it into this country, the money they make, it goes to their country. Why can't we also produce? We produce Calipo here. Why can't I roam the streets of Dubai and buy Calipo and drink? Why can't I roam the streets of New York and buy Calipo? Why is it that I must drink a Mexican product in my country or a Spanish product in my country, yet the white man cannot drink my product? When we started exporting cocoa, today, I understand in China, the best chocolate they want is chocolate from Ghana because our cocoa is pure. So there will be a demand for it, even if it is not local, but internationally. And we can produce and export. And that is the economy we want to leverage on so that it absorbs the shocks on our currency. The second thing he spoke about is that, yes, I'm happy that today there's no MPP person even here to dilute the policy we are discussing. Because we're having a very integral conversation here.
Why would they dilute? I mean, they would also share their opinion on it.
All the things he's spoken about are fantastic. The construction sector. Go abroad. All the roads mostly are constructed in the night. If there's a pothole, you wake up the next morning and it's fixed. Why is it that Ghana after 6 p.m. contractors are putting their lights off, everybody is going home? I remember in 2016, we started constructing roads day and night. Bella, you remember that you could go and sleep. You wake up in the morning and the road is asphalted. You wonder what time the road was fixed. If we foster that the construction sector goes fully at 3 shifts, what it means to you and I is that laborers will be picked in the morning, laborers will be picked in the night, and people will get more jobs to do. Again, another thing he seeks to solve is the issue of efficiency. Go to the port. Somebody just sent a text that he's been trying to clear his goods for 4 days. Anytime he goes, the people who are clearing their goods do not permit him and do not allow him. By 6 p.m., Gapoha closes, even though the MPS portal is there to work, the Terminal 3. That was brought by President Mahama. But Gapoha closes, and as a result, custom officials close, clearing agents close, he has to go home. But if the port goes 24 hours, we recruit more custom officials, we recruit more clearing agents, and that man will also get efficiency, just as the passport office. By 5 p.m., look, sometimes one of the places I don't like visiting are 2. Passport office, DVLA. When you go to renew your license, Bella, you know, you can be there from morning till evening. They'll be tossing you around left, right. Me and my license, I cannot renew. Me and my passport, I can't get. Because by 4, they will close. You go and see the crowd or the huge number of people there. So a 24-hour economy will ensure that if the banker closes at 5 p.m., he can still go and renew his license around 7 p.m. because DVLA will still be working. There are many government workers who sometimes will give their license to a guru boy to go and recruit because he's at the bank, he's behind the counter. From 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., he's working. He needs to close after that time and be able to go. The banks, after 5 p.m., but for ATM, you cannot use any system.
Okay.
But if we get banks running fully, even at 2 p.m., because President Mahama provides security, I can withdraw 200,000 and then I'll still use it. A final point I wanted to touch on is that I already told you the issue in this country is unemployment. But you know, the biggest issue is Pakpapa employment. I seek to term it that way because it's street language. Pakpapa employment is that I am working, but if I were not working, it would have been better than the work I'm doing. Pakpapa employment, you go to work from Monday to Sunday. Bella, you are smiling. When they pay you your salary, within 2 days the salary is finished, yet you are still going to work. We call it Pakpapa employment. If you were not employed, it would have been better. That is why these days, you find somebody working, yet anytime you check the status, the person is selling watches, the person is selling shoes. Because if you don't do that, you cannot survive on that Pakpapa salary you are getting. But with this 24-hour economy, somebody can go like abroad. You can work 8 hours. If you think you can still work again, you get another job and you work at another hour. There are people who close from work and they go home because job has closed, but not because they are tired. They could sleep for 8 hours, Wake up for 8 hours, work for another 8 hours. Because the 24-hour economy seeks to create more than 2.5 million jobs. The total unemployment rate is 1.8. There will be a surplus. So some people will even get 2 jobs to do. There are people who go to school. And Bella, let me cite this example.
Okay.
When they go to
Land
class,
on it for me.
from morning till afternoon, they close from class. They will be wallowing about. Yet, at the end of the month, they don't even have school fees to pay. These people can go to class in the morning. When they close from their shift, they go to work and they work. So somebody goes for lectures from morning, let's say 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. The person closes from lectures. The person will go and sleep from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. The person wakes up at 8 p.m. The person will go to work and work. Okay. So the issue with even looking for school fees will be a thing of the past. But at the youth program, you heard of the free tertiary education. Bella, did you hear of it?
Yes, I did.
Wow. President Mahama, may God continue to
Movement
bless
for Change doesn't necessarily agree to it.
Yeah, don't worry. We are, like he told you, we are people on a mission. We are using different routes.
Okay.
I don't like criticizing their policies because I know that any political party is better than Large Baumia. So if we are discussing policy, whatever they have for Ghanaians, Ghanaians will be able to choose between who they want to vote for. But what we are saying is that we will start the free tertiary education for level 100s. For disability, it will be totally free. He was speaking about jobs and support to mega workers and all of that. Fantastic. President Mahama says he will introduce the National Apprenticeship Program, where we support. You saw a woman with a tailor thing saying that, in fact, money, my tree is not.
So that's the money your policy.
Money your policy. And she sang money yo. You see, President Mahama, may God bless him. He will help apprentices in this country. They won't pay monies to go and learn jobs again. When they are done, he will give them startup capitals. And he agreed that once you give them startup and they work, they'll be able to boost production.
Then people should team up, since you seem to have similar policies.
You see, my issue is that Alan agrees virtually with every policy of the NDC. And I remember when they asked him about the 24-hour economy, he didn't mince words. He said it's fantastic, it's a game changer. And he says all his policies are going to be in same lines. So Ghanaians will have to take a decision of who they want to settle for. Our problem here on this platform, and you agree with me, is the man who doesn't have a policy, yet goes around lying and insulting people. The man who does not even know the medicine to our sickness. When he gets up, all he will say is that one CD phone, Montu Susu, na iPhone 15. The man is bereft of ideas and he's totally warped.
We'll go into his next.
There's no NPP person here to dilute the very
We'll go into his next policy where he says that, you talked about driver's license.
His policy is what?
Yeah, you talked about driver's license.
And Baumia's policies.
He says that we're going to now extend the validity period. But you hold on. Wait.
Is this a policy?
Before, let Solomon come in.
Because Alan and Joe Mohammed.
Hold on, Solomon.
Forget that man.
So when you talked about the Traders Bank, I got a few people who are watching on Facebook asking that, really, what's the difference? And they think that, the Great Transformational Plan took some of these ideas from the NDC because they're saying that it's no different from the Women's Bank because it has the same ideology.
First of all, the Great Transformational Plan was launched on the 10th or 11th of January, 2023. And so it couldn't have been so. That was last year when Alan left office as a minister and wanted to contest as a presidential candidate of the MPP. So that is not, and it cannot be. Alan's Great Transformational Plan has always been there. What we want to do with the Traders Bank is that we want to make access to funding to our traders very, very easy and very cheap. You see, underneath all the struggles we are going through as a country, it's our interest rate regime. The monetary policy regime we are operating is so killing and damning. You see, nobody can tell me that we don't have demand for what we produce. The only way we are losing out is that when the Ghanaian produces today, the per unit cost is higher than someone who is in South Africa producing. The per unit cost is higher than someone who is in Togo producing. In Togo, their policy rate is 5%. Whereas in Ghana, our policy rate is 29%. So how do you compete a Ghanaian borrowing at a policy rate of 29%, compete with someone enjoying 5% in Togo, enjoying the same 5% in Burkina, enjoying the same 5% in Ivory Coast, enjoying 7% in Rwanda, enjoying less than 13% in even Nigeria? That is where the problem is. So there is no doubt that there is demand. But the cost at which you are producing will make your goods look more expensive. So that when it enters the market, look, this, what's the name? This 1D1F that produces fruit juice. I've forgotten.
Ekumfi.
Ekumfi.
Okay.
Ekumfi were doing well in Cote d'Ivoire. The people loved the product until our interest rate started kicking in. That it seemed more expensive than the concentrate that they were importing from Europe. And so if you realize the Ghanaian, it's not that the Ghanaian doesn't want to enjoy or eat what is produced here, but when you go to the market, what is brought from the foreign land is more cheaper than what we are producing here. So more often, we that are closer to the raw material or the natural fruits tend to eat concentrates. And that is where Allah wants to tackle it from. So deal with the fundamentals. If you don't deal with it, you will be putting up a superstructure on a very weak foundation. And that seems to be the bane of our development. And this is where we want to tackle it. So the Traders Bank is good for traders. It will reduce the interest rate for them. They will be more emboldened.
Do we have a percentage for the interest rates when they're paying back?
No, it should be. We have said time with that number that there is no reason why Ghanaians must pay more than 9%.
More than 9%.
In this country.
So, for example, the NDC's Women's Bank, they are saying that you're paying without interest when you borrow the money.
No, but the point is that, you see, it's more or less the same policy. However, they are looking at women. We are looking at, because it's not only women that are into trading. Make no mistake. If you go to Abosoka, if you go to Makola, if you go to Kanshi, men are into business.
Okay.
So we want to look at all of that.
Okay.
After all, we have passed the affirmative action.
Okay.
What a man can do, a woman can do. What
Do
a woman
better.
can do, which one is that?
Yes.
A woman can do better. So hold on. Let me just bring in Dr. Samuel Ifriye. He's been on the line for quite a while. He's a political and economic analyst from the Kumasi Technical University. Thank you so much, sir, for staying with us. I hope you're well.
Yes, good morning, and Bella, I hope you are doing well.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm sure you've listened to my two panelists on the 133 policy for the 24-hour economic policy launched by the NDC. I mean, generally, what are your thoughts on this? If you check some studies on this, they talk about the fact that in order for this policy to thrive, you need infrastructure. You listen to Malik and he says that, of course, the infrastructure can be done if you're also encouraging the 24-hour policy so that security services would work, construction sites would work, and so 24-hour policy basically also brings in the demand. As a technical university lecturer, what do you make of this? Also, thinking of the fact that for the movement for change, they think it should be a gradual process where you rather build on skills before automatically the 24-hour economic policy also comes to being.
Thank you very much, and special greetings to my co-panelists and also your cherished viewers as well. But when you look at the 24-hour economy, which is the NDC policy to address unemployment and also to ensure that there's growth in certain sectors of the economy. What I would say is that the NDC, the policy is good. The policy is good. But they need to let us know the real details of it. Like they should come up with a document or a policy about that 24-hour economy. Because when you look at the other countries, let's say London, UK, that is New York, and in Africa, I think Kenya is trying to come up with those policies, and they are now discussing it like that. When you look at theirs, you know, they made it known to the people that the night economy valued at this amount, like let's say about 200 million Ghana cedis, and there's the amount we wish to invest to generate that value of that night economy. So in that case, then they will tell us the various sectors. You know, if it is manufacturing, that is where 24-hour economy will go. If it is tourism, that is where it will go. And later, they'll have to tell us about the direct employment and indirect employment from those sectors. And aside that, you also have to look at the security aspects of this, because if it's a night economy, what kind of system have we put in place to ensure that people and people will be safe in terms of, especially these night economies, the restaurants, hotels, and that is where mostly people will be moving around and the manufacturing setup. So we need to identify, and you know that the 24-hour economy, it cannot be in the whole country. Like, we need to identify certain cities that these 24-hour economy can be applied and what areas that it can be applied, so that the infrastructures will go to those areas rather than trying to make it in a general form. Because even every city has its own kind of uniqueness in terms of the 24-hour economy. For example, when you come to Kumasi, let's say we believe in trade, so buying and selling. So nice economy about buying and selling will be much more. So how can our people will be secured in terms of security? How can traveling, buses, transportation, these are the things that we need to put in place. It is a very good policy, and when we implement it with a well-structured policy, well-detailed, and I believe that the NDC should come up with those policies, because the system is in such a way that people don't know what it is, and there's a lot of confusion here. So I believe that the NDC has to help us to let us know, and big stakeholders, and let us know the various cities or regions that probably will this policy will be implemented. And also they use this 24-hour economy as a benchmark of solving unemployment. So they should tell us that these are the areas that we want to implement 24-hour, and it will generate direct employment of this figure and indirect employment of this figure. Then I believe that when you implement, you will get the results, and the Ghanaians will accept the policy.
But in terms of implementation, if you listen to Solomon, he talks more about developing the skills of young people so that eventually when they master the skills, then that also gives us that 24-hour economy automatically. And so he talks more about the fact that there needs to be a demand for the 24-hour economy and not the reverse like the NDC say. Because the NDC also says that if you implement the 24-hour economy almost immediately, then that also then brings about demand. What do you think works? Should we focus more on building the skills first before we progressively implement the 24-hour economy, or should we implement it immediately and hope that demand will come with it?
My dear Bella, the policy is not just all of a sudden that you come to implement. You need to do a need assessment. You need to find out where skill gaps can be identified as well. And based on that, you train them to fit into the strategy. Because I believe that the NDC is the wind power will start implementing in January or February or no. That is not possible. You need to make us know various ways, because the policy is such a way that it has to be an integrative kind of system, where this one comes in, this one comes in. And I think I learned that the former President Muhammad said that even if there is no demand, especially if there is no demand, some sectors there is no demand, you can create demand for the export West African market. So there needs to be an integrated system, and skill gaps need to be identified. We need to equip those skills that will be identified. And I believe that we can start from somewhere. It cannot be all the sectors once. It can start from somewhere. Let's say tourism, hotel, or whatever. You put certain things, and gradually you will implement them. And it's not just one-off kind of policy that can make all these things results to be achieved once.
All right. Well, Doc, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
My pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. And that was, let me just, so that was Dr. Samuel Efiri. He's a political and economics analyst at the Kumasi Technical University. Just briefly on this so we can move on.
I mean, fantastic things. First, let me commend Doc for accepting that indeed the 24-hour economy is the game changer. And it's a good policy. He said that. So the only one who does not understand the 24-hour economy today is Alhaji Bawumia. Because all professors, doctors, business owners, companies, everybody understands it and has accepted. What Doc raised was a fantastic thing. He's a doctor, he's a professor. They said it's fantastic. They want to see the blueprint. It was stated in our frequently asked questions that will provide the blueprint in the coming days so they all get to know it. In fact, we haven't even launched our manifesto. We need to launch the manifesto, and from then we'll provide all the blueprints. But he asked a very intriguing question. He said he wanted to know some of the sectors. As for that, I can give him the answer. So the 24-hour economy will start with agro-processing companies. It will start with pharmaceuticals. It will start with the manufacturing industry. It will start with the extractive industry. It will start with the digital startups. And remember, President Mahama says we're going to recruit 1 million coders where people are going to be working
Yeah.
IT and all of that. They'll work 24 hours fully. The mining sectors, President Mama said you build mining refineries and mining communities. All those companies will go 24 hours. He said you build cocoa refineries and cocoa communities. They'll all go 24 hours. And most important is the public sector, where President Mama has control over. And so DVLA, I don't know what it takes to make DVLA 24 hours. I don't know what it takes. It takes legislation. Once the president says, start moving 24 hours, we start moving
That's
24
enough.
hours.